A city in New Jersey wants to stop LLCs from buying private homes and stop real estate investors from wholesaling. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of New Jersey. So, obviously, New Jersey, it's on one of the coasts, and it's a very, very anti-landlord, pro-tenant place. But some of these proposals that I'm seeing thrown out there right now, I mean, they are completely different from what I've seen before. So, the first proposal they have is they want to basically limit corporations from being able to buy private homes because they say that they think that these large real estate investors are buying up all the private properties and individual homeowners can't afford them because, they've driven up the prices. And I think that's complete garbage. But the result of this law is that a landlord or a real estate investor who wants to buy a property with an LLC could be prevented from doing that. And that sounds like a horrible idea, okay? The second thing they're proposing is they want to stop wholesalers from doing business within the city. And no matter what you say about wholesaling real estate, okay, it is legal in most places, and it really depends on how you do it. I think that they provide a great service. I don't think they're actually scamming anyone out of anything, okay? I think a lot of the times they get a bad reputation because of a few bad players, but hey, that's what happens with landlords as well. You get a few bad apples and they ruin it for everybody. So, I don't agree with them thinking that wholesaling should be completely banned. Now, before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of these two proposals. What do you think of a proposal that would ban LLCs from buying private homes within the city? Okay? And what do you think of a proposal that would, make it illegal to wholesale properties? I mean, I think both of them are horrible ideas, okay? Private property rights should trump all of these ridiculous policies and rules and regulations they're putting in place. And, they think that this is going to stop the problem. It's not going to stop anything, okay? The end result of all of this will be that landlords will have to jump through more hoops than ever. And like I've always said, every time a landlord has to jump through a hoop and it costs a little bit extra money, they tack that onto the rent. So when they see that affordable housing is just slowly disappearing, they can blame themselves, okay? But anyway, let's get into this article. It's coming from abc7ny.com, and it says, Newark launches initiatives to stop corporations from buying private homes. And in case you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, I'm got my cycling gear on, and as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm going to go and hit my indoor cycling trainer. It's my new thing. Running isn't good enough. But anyway, let's get into this article and see what it says. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka on Wednesday announced wide-ranging initiatives to combat large corporations from purchases of private homes. The proposed initiatives are in addition to the mayor's numerous programs to increase home ownership, prevent evictions, avoid gentrification, and make housing in Newark more equitable. Baraka said the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated a dangerous decade-long national trend in residential real estate and in cities and suburbs. Corporations are buying up millions of owner-occupied homes and turning them into rentals. Yeah, it is a new thing for large corporations to be buying these owner-occupied homes, right? But landlords and real estate investors have been investing in single-family homes for a very, very long time. This is nothing new. It's just being done on a larger scale now. And regardless of what they say about the large corporations, the grand majority of single-family home investors are small real estate investors, small mom-and-pop landlords, such as myself. I own 4 single-family home rentals. That's it. Okay? I don't have some huge corporation, but this kind of law, this kind of rule and regulation could affect me. Because they're trying to target, we don't want BlackRock. We don't want BlackRock. And then, the problem is somebody like me, some small mom and pop landlord, is the one who ends up getting hurt by the regulation. And BlackRock is just fine. So, yeah, I mean, this is why I don't like this sort of rule being passed. But let's keep going. He said the result is rapidly rising rents, decreased homeownership, reduced availability of affordable housing, renter displacement, and less stable communities. The package of proposed measures are designed to reduce large-scale investor buying of private homes and bolster home ownership in Newark. Baraka praised Who Owns Newark, a research report authored by law professor David Trout, who serves as director of the Rutgers Center on Law and Equality and Metropolitan Equity, and is a member of the city's Equitable Growth Advisory Commission for providing data and recommendations to inform the city's response. So yeah, this guy here and their little foundation, they made great recommendations, but I bet you that they didn't talk to a single landlord. Okay, this is the problem I have with all of these great ideas that these politicians and these people have come up with, right? They don't actually talk to the landlords and say, hey, how would this affect you? Do you think this will actually work? No. Instead, they just make the assumption that any stupid law they pass will work, and then they are confused when the landlords don't comply and do exactly what they thought they would do. So yeah, it's going to be a disaster if this passes, okay? Because they have no clue how a landlord would react. Suddenly finding out that, hey, you can't use LLCs to buy private homes anymore. Well, what will that do? That will mean less landlords will probably want to invest within the city of Newark, and that could lead to deteriorating properties, that are just falling apart, and nobody really giving a crap about building anything new there in the city. I mean, these are things that they just can't see, okay? Because they're blinded by their vision, and they're trying to stop the evil giant corporations. So yeah, I mean, I can't believe that they keep passing these kind of laws without getting any sort of input from actual landlords, real estate investors, real estate developers, etc. The city will work with the Equitable Growth Advisory Commission to address issues raised by Who Owns Newark. In cities and even suburbs across America, institutional investors are eroding the American dream of home ownership as they convert owner-occupied homes into corporately owned rental units, Baraka said. In Newark, where we have worked hard for years to expand home ownership, we will do everything possible to combat this dangerous trend. The Climb report signals that Newark must create stronger and more equitable laws, regulations, and policies to ensure that residents share in the growth of our city. All this equitable talk, that's their one of their little buzzwords, I guess you could say, but that doesn't actually resolve the problem. I believe in home ownership. I believe that more people should work to become homeowners, right? But Newark and New Jersey in general is known as having some of the highest I think it does have the highest property taxes of any state in the entire country. Okay, they have extremely high property taxes. On top of that, housing prices are not cheap there. The barrier to entry in terms of home ownership in a place like Newark is money. It's not the fact that the corporate people are buying up the housing. It's the fact that you got to be pretty well to do to buy a house in a place like Newark. Okay, I mean, it benefits from proximity to New York City, but at the same time, the fact that it's close by means that property prices are going to be super expensive there. Oh man, and I'm going to skip down here because I want to get more into the details behind this law that they're proposing and see what they say. So it says here, Baraka announced the city will urge the governor, state legislators, and the municipal council to create a coordinated state and local policy to address the effects of large-scale corporate ownership of private homes. Submit legislation to the municipal council to make it unlawful to solicit offers without residents' permission. Okay, so that's going into wholesaling right there. Make it illegal to solicit offers without the residents' permission. So a random person, I couldn't go up to you and be like, hey, want to sell your house? Nope, that's you trying to solicit an offer on my house? Well, listen, here, I want to offer you a good, fair price for your home. Nope, we're going to send you to jail because you tried to offer. That's so stupid, okay? That is just idiotic. I don't think that's going to help anything. But yeah, that's where they're trying to get these wholesalers caught up, okay? Submit legislation to the municipal council to bring more transparency to limited liability companies that are purchasing private properties to keep them accountable. See, and when they bring up the LLCs, the limited liability companies, it's obvious that they see those as being the problem, not realizing that, hey, LLCs, they are not very hard to form, and a lot of small landlords use LLCs for their investment properties. There could be a landlord who owns one rental property and has an LLC under an LLC, but now they're going to be held to the same accountability standards as a mega corporation. That's how ridiculous this whole thing is. But let's keep going. Submit legislation to the municipal council covering properties not under rent control to impose fees on renting and landlord registrations for property owners and landlords that increase rents above 5% year over year. These fees will be directed to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and used to fund the creation of new affordable rental and home ownership opportunities for Newark residents. So, okay, that's something I didn't realize that they were trying to do. So for the people who own properties that aren't under rent control, they are trying to basically fine you if you want to raise your rent more than 5% in a year. And then they'll take those fines and then give it away to some other government program. So they want to punish landlords who might need to raise their rent more than 5% in a single year. Keep in mind that inflation was over 8%. And there's a lot of landlords who haven't raised their rent in years, so sometimes they might need to bump their rent up 10% at once. But they would get fined and penalized if they try to do that, you know. And this is the kind of thing that I absolutely despise. Is, you know, they try to do this backhanded thing to try to, you know, impose some sort of rent control on non-rent control properties. Okay. Add a deed restriction to all city-owned and land bank properties, which will require properties to be affordable. So if a property is city-owned or coming from the land bank, they would put a deed restriction on it. They would force it to always have lower rent. Listen, that is ridiculous, okay? Especially, you know, it could be 100 years from now, and who knows what's going on then, but you would never be able to change the rents on that property. Convene a meeting in the coming month with investors, developers of color, and community development corporations to develop further strategies on how Newark can work to invest in underinvested and disinvested communities. So I got no problem if they want to have a meeting. They can have all the meetings they want, but my issue is these rules, these regulations, and these new laws that they're trying to pass that will end up costing small landlords especially a lot of money and making it very difficult to invest in a place like this. So once again, my recommendation is don't invest there. Don't waste your time. And these big corporate investors, they already know this, okay? That's why they're investing in the Sun Belt. That's why they're investing in the South. They're not going up to places like Newark and like trying to buy up all the houses, because they know there's too many rules. There's too many regulations. There's not enough profit to be made. They can go down to Florida. They can go down to the Carolinas. They can go over to Arizona, and they can make a huge fortune buying up houses there. And they have a government on their side that treats property owners with the respect they deserve.